Ugh, let's just get on with it. Jump cut. And here we have Lugnut transformed up into his vehicle mode, and you can see it's a B-2 bomber. I've showed it off in several of my past reviews. I'm not going to do any vehicle mode size comparisons. I'm just going to move right on to detail. You can see this nice kind of smoky brown translucent plastic for the cockpit. These really cool rotating machine guns on the sides of the cockpit as well as the top of the plane. Aside from the colors, he's actually proportionately and design-wise fairly accurate to a B-2 bomber. I really like it. Though I don't understand why he has giant frickin' nuclear missiles under his wings. That's just kind of silly. You know, that's just kind of silly, guys. But yeah, overall, not bad looking figure. Not a terrible length either, but I mean, still kind of small for what he's supposed to be. This is a huge plane. I've seen one of these planes in person, and they are enormous. They are way bigger than a truck, and this guy is maybe like 30% bigger than a particular truck that we looked at recently. It's just kind of sad. He does have landing gear, which do fold up into the bottom of the plane like so, and reorient everything. And yeah, really nifty paint. The hazard band is really cool. Very cool gold Decepticon symbol painted on, just like on Starscream, who we looked at last time. And overall, just a very nifty looking plane. I really like this plane mode, and it looks like he did in the show. I mean, there's no denying that. He looks like his on-screen counterpart almost exactly. It's just absolutely fantastic. It's the transformation and the other mode of this figure that really bugs me. So let's go ahead and get into that first by removing the giant cheater piece. Like, quite literally, they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with this whole tail section in robot mode, so they just took it off. And it folds out like so, and you can like press it against the ground, and it's supposed to, well, that just broke off now. It's getting kind of old, guys, at this point. But from what I understand, it's supposed to, like, you're supposed to push this button on the bottom, and it's supposed to open this section up here. But clearly that's not what's happening here, because I'm trying to do that, and it's just not working. But let's see if I can get this to trigger without it. I'm not going to be able to get it to trigger, because it's, like I said, it's kind of an old toy at this point. See, every time I try to plunk it down with enough force to trigger it, it breaks. It breaks at this little friction hinge. And so what I'm going to do is what I usually do with this piece, and just toss it to the side. And that leaves us with this, which is almost a whole plane. Almost. Almost. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let's start with the back here. Let's take these flaps and fold them up to get them out of the way, which allows us to kind of untab these sections like so from there, which allows us to unfold his legs like so, which allows us to fold his toesies up like so, which then allows us to rotate this around and plug it in like so. And as with all these Voyager class toys, they have some kind of automorph feature, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring this whole back section down. This is actually pretty cool. It rotates his head around, and then as it locks into place, it springs his cockpit back and fills out his chest. And that's cool. I like that a lot. It's very, very nifty. And he's pretty much almost completely transformed. So, as with most of the animated toys, simplicity. Simplicity at its finest. Next, we're going to fold his wingtips up. Then we are going to unplug his arms from these very stiff pegs right here. Then bring them down like so. And rotate them forward on their little ratchet joints. Just kind of one click to get them in the proper orientation for these giant intake vents to now be shoulders. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to take these wing-like things on the missiles, and we're going to push them forward which opens up the hands and reveals these little button gun barrel thingies, and I'll show you on this side a little bit better. Just like so. Very, very simple. And it kind of resembles the little red button in his hand in the show that he would punch stuff with and cause a nuclear explosion. Well, a nuclear-esque explosion. It couldn't have been an actual nuclear explosion, or all the humans in the area would have died of radiation poisoning. But that's beside the point. And here you have the complete Lugnut. He, I'm pretty sure I've been calling him Lugnut and not something else. I mix up this guy's names every once in a while, because honestly, I didn't like this character very much. I thought he was a cool addition to the lore, because he was like the devotee to Megatron and believed all the propaganda, and that contributed to Megatron's rise during the series. But otherwise, I felt like he was just kind of there to be there. As I mentioned in my review of the Leader Class Transformers animated bulkhead, this guy is very small in this mode. He seems to shrink going from vehicle to robot, which is probably helped by that giant hunk of useless plastic back there. But, yeah. I'm actually going to grab that hunk of useless plastic real quick. And here it is. I have it in my hand, because I actually think I was doing it wrong, because I actually think... Let me try this. Let's see if this works. Alright. Put it in his hand. And no, it still doesn't open. It still doesn't open this up here. But you can see what they were trying to do with it. They make it into a staff, which... Okay, fine. But he never had a staff in the show. I don't get it. Now, the one cool thing is when you plug that in, as you saw, the hands do grip it, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, it's also useless, because his arms don't really have strong enough joints to actually, like, pose this anywhere. And as I mentioned, this whole thing here is just absolutely, utterly useless. It doesn't actually open up here the way it's supposed to very well. And so like I said, it's pretty much better to just toss it off to the side. Much like the Leader Class iteration of his rival Bulkhead, his head doesn't do anything. Though, even kind of worse than Bulkhead, his head doesn't even rotate for a gimmick. It just kind of sits static there. But he does have ratchet joints in his shoulders, and his arms can still move out despite the design of his shoulders. And he does get a double joint at his elbow. Nothing at the waist due to transformation, but a full range of movement in his legs. Partially due to transformation, since these do fold for transformation, but I will take what I can get on this kind of lackluster figure. And don't get me wrong, I don't regret getting him, because I do like his design enough that I'm glad I got him. But he's just so darn little. He's supposed to be the largest Decepticon in the show. And there he is next to Starscream, who's another Voyager class. This guy looks like a deluxe class figure next to him. It's absolutely sad. And yeah, I know he transforms wide rather than tall, but ugh, it's so bad. To get a better idea of it, here he is with Optimus Prime, an Autobot who is supposed to be proportionately smaller than he is, because the Autobots in this are quite a bit smaller than the Decepticons in terms of the show scale. And Optimus is still like a full head and a half taller than him. And while he did scale very, very well with the Voyager class version of Bulkhead, the Voyager class version of Bulkhead was equally way too small. And so the better version of Bulkhead, Leader class Bulkhead, is of course quite a bit larger than Lugnut, even though Lugnut here is supposed to be like a full head and a half taller than Bulkhead. And it ruins all of the possibilities for dynamic poses between these figures. And it's why I'm going to say that this figure is not recommended. I mean, yeah, if you really love the character, or you're just a completionist, or you just want to get everything from the line, or you don't care about scale, go ahead, pick him up if you don't already have him. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with him aside from the size and this thing. I just don't particularly like him. It's just me, really. And, I mean, that part of that probably stems from the fact that I didn't really like him much in the show, either. But either way, I'm going to be I'm going to stand really firm on this one and say that this figure is not worth getting. Especially not now, so long after the fact when he's going to be so marked up, it's ridiculous. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this review. I'm really sad to have to go in such a negative direction with this one, but I did say a couple reviews ago that I was going to dump pretty hard on this guy, and, well, clearly I wasn't lying. I just wish that there had been a budget or a desire or whatever was lacking. I wish it had been there. And that this guy had been remade as a leader class figure as Bulkhead was. Getting this guy with electronics, maybe like a flashing red light in his hand or something, would have been absolutely spectacular. And I think it's a huge missed opportunity on the part of the designers of the toy line, the distributors of the toy line, the whole, like, heads of the entire Transformers animated franchise. I was really hoping at some point we would get a third-party figure that filled that void, but that is yet to happen. I guess it still could, but I really doubt it at this point. So, yeah, kind of, I don't know, stay away from Lugnut. He's not good. He's not good. At all. I mean, not really. But I did enjoy making this review, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Be sure to help me out, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. In the description down below, you will find a link to all the stuff I'm working on, as well as my collections video. Check that out, and if you see anything in it that you'd like me to review, let me know and I'll see what I can do. This has been Awesome John 22, and I will talk to you guys later.